adding fractions with like denominators. When we talk about fractions with like denominators, we will often hear them called fractions with common denominators. For example, 2/5 plus 1/5 would give us fractions that have a common denominator, or like denominators. When adding fractions with like denominators, follow these procedures. Step 1. Check your denominators and be sure they are the same. In this case, we know they are the same because we have designed them that way. Step 2. Use the same denominator in your answer. So all we have to do is bring our denominator over, keeping it the same. The next step that we do is we add the numerators. In this case, the answer is fairly easy to come up with. 2 plus 1 is 3. That might not always be the case, though. After we do step 3, we go on to step 4, and we simplify our answer if needed. This means that we find the greatest common factor and then divide. However, in this case, we know that both 3 and 5 are prime numbers, so therefore we have a fraction that is in lowest terms. Let's try another example. Let's try 3/10 plus 3/10. Our first step, of course, is to check the denominators. Are they the same? Again, we've designed our own problem so we have common denominators. All you need to do is bring the denominator over and keep it the same. We can now go on to step 2. We can go on to step 3. We add the numerators. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now we go on to step 4. Simplify your answer if needed. In this case, we see that we have two composite numbers, and they're both even numbers, so we need to simplify. So we're going to find the factors of 6. If you don't know them, or if you don't know it already, the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. The factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Our greatest common factor for the terms of this fraction will be 2. So now what we need to do to simplify is we divide both of them by the greatest common factor of 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. We have now completed our problem. 3/10 plus 3/10 equals 6/10. 6/10 is not simplified, so we find the greatest common factor and divide, and we get our simplified answer. Give this problem a try on your own. Five twelfths plus 3/12. Follow the steps and try it at your desk. Okay, here we go. Step 1, check the denominators. They are both the same. Step 2, use the same denominator in your answer. Step 3, add your numerators. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Step 4, simplify your answer if needed. Obviously, we need to simplify our answer because we have two composite numbers and both are even. We would then list the factors of 8 and 12. Some of you might already know what the common factor is, the greatest common factor. But what we'll do is we'll list our factors just to be sure. The factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. Factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So what we have is the greatest common factor of 4. And now we will divide both 8 and 12 by 4. Get 2. 12 divided by 4 gives you 3. So our answer for this problem, 5 twelfths plus 3 twelfths equals 8 twelfths. Our greatest common factor is 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, our next situation requires us to add a fifth step to our procedures. If your answer is an improper fraction, you will need to change it to a mixed number. Now, when you get into the higher grade levels, your teachers may ask you to leave it an improper fraction. But usually when you're just starting to add fractions, they will want you to change it into a mixed number. Here's an example of using step 5. Six eighths plus 7 eighths. Step 1, we check our denominator. They are the same. Step 2, we use our same denominator. Step 3, we add our numerator. 6 plus 7 is 13. Step 4, we simplify our answer. Sometimes kids like to do the simplifying before they do step 5. Other times kids like to simplify after they do step 5. Either way, you will want a simplified answer for your final answer. Step 5, check your answer, see if it's an improper fraction, and then change it to a mixed number. You change it to a mixed number by dividing your numerator by your denominator. 8 can go into 13 one time. 1 times 8 is 8, subtract, and you end up with 5. 1 is our whole number. 8 remains our denominator. And 5 is our numerator. 6 eighths plus 7 eighths equals 13 eighths. This is an improper fraction, so we have to do step 5, which is to change it to a mixed number. When we look at our mixed number, we have 1 and 5 eighths. 5 eighths is simplified, so we know that we are done with our problem. Let's take a look at another problem that we can solve. Nine sixteenths plus 9 sixteenths. Step 1, check the denominators. They are the same, so we just have to use the same denominator in our answer. Step 3, add the numerators. Step 4, simplify your answer if needed. Well, we can simplify now, or we can simplify after we do step 5, which is to create an improper fraction. 18 divided by 16 will give us 1 with a remainder of 2. 1 is our whole number, 2 is our numerator, and 16 remains our denominator. Now when we look at that, we see that we have a fraction that needs simplified. Our greatest common factor for both those terms will be 2. So our final answer will be to divide 2 by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So our final answer is 9 plus 9 sixteenths plus 9 sixteenths gives us 18 sixteenths, which is 1 and 2 sixteenths, which is simplified to 1 and 1/8. Let's try another problem that you can do on your own. Seven tenths plus 9 tenths. Follow the procedures and come up with your answer. Okay, here we go. Let's review what you accomplished. Step 1, check your denominators. Our denominators are common. They are like. Step 2, we're going to use that denominator in our answer. Step 3, we add our numerators. 7 plus 9 is 16. Step 4, we're going to skip because we want to convert our improper fraction into a mixed number. So what we'll do is we'll divide 16 by 10. 10 will go into 16 one time. Subtract and you end up with 6. So our answer is 1 and 6 tenths. Now at this point we see that we have to continue the process, and we're going to go back up to step 4 and simplify our fraction. 1 remains our whole number, and what we'll do is we'll get rid of this so we have some room to figure out some factors. The factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. The factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. Our greatest common factor is 2, so we simply 6 divided by 2 equals 3. 10 divided by 2 equals 5. So when we add 7 tenths plus 9 tenths, we end up with 16 tenths, an improper fraction. We then change that to a mixed number and we get 1 and 6 tenths. We simplify the fraction 6 tenths into 3/5. Your teacher's now going to give you some more problems for you to do on your own. Remember that when you're adding fractions with like denominators, all you need to do is check your denominators, use the same denominator in your answer, add the numerators, simplify your answer if needed, and then if your answer is an improper fraction, change it to a mixed number.